What up, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? It is Matty P and Marky D with another episode of Mad Monday for you. We are recording this on our Monday night, which actually is about 5 or 6 a.m. on the East Coast, I think, by the time we're recording this. Maybe 5 a.m. 20 to 6, I think it is. Anyway, what have you? We are from the future. Marky D, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, but I'm still cold, mate. I want this weather to go away. I'm freezing.
It's a bit warmer. It's been a bit warmer the last few days.
You reckon? Maybe it's just my house then. I don't know. I just feel
I was
like
out in the city, enjoying the city yesterday. It was pretty warm. So
out in the sun. Was it sunny yesterday where you're at?
Yeah, it was sunny in the heart of the city. I went out. So
were you fishing for sharks?
We're not fishing for sharks.
No, okay. You weren't chasing kangaroos out that way?
We weren't chasing kangaroos. No, we're just downing beers.
Really? That's all right.
Yeah.
Is that slang? Chasing kangaroos sounds like downing beers.
Yeah, it does.
what were you doing? You were in Sydney, were you? In the harbour?
Yeah, I had the suit try on for the wedding.
That's right.
Yeah. And some of the groomsmen, and we had a little few drinks.
A few sherbets to dust them off.
A few sherbets. Yeah, a few sherbets.
Hey, you feel all right?
9 o'clock on a Sunday night before work the next day is always good.
You feel good? You feel all right when you're down there?
Yeah, I felt good.
Didn't have too many?
No, I think I was probably a couple off having too many. Not too many. But just from feeling really crap today. But I felt pretty.
Yeah, there's always that point, isn't there? You're like, I can have like a good, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the rest is just like, what's the point? Because you just feel worse the next day for the same buzz.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was really, really good. So, usually you got to do a wedge shred to fit into the suit. Kenny Pickett knows what's this like. But I actually had to put some muscle on for the jacket because I went a size up in the jacket. And right. I filled it out, so I'm ahead of schedule. So I'm very happy with myself.
So what you're saying is you're getting married this season. So Kenny, that means we're going to win Super Bowl. Is that what you're saying?
Hopefully, yeah.
I think so. I think it's kind of cool actually that he got married, or he's sort of like that kind of part of his life before his football career.
Yeah,
I think it's underestimated. I think it's a big thing. I think it's like
it makes him a bit like more grounded. I think it's good. Yeah. So with that in mind, I wanted to talk training camp. It's been a couple of days. Everyone's talked all these different things, but I wanted to just there's been a lot of been hype to this. There's a lot of different angles. Obviously, the Alex Highsmith signing last week. We talked about that on TDU Boys. But I wanted to go by with each week and some of the position groups. So I'm going to start off with my first question. Who needs to... So often people talk about winners and losers. Who needs to be a winner this week to be able to have a spot on the roster or to claim a starting spot? And I'm not going to say who needs to be a loser because that's very defeatist. But who do you think is... So needs to be a winner means keeping on the roster. But who do you not want to see the most be a loser? And I'm going to start with offense. We'll talk about them. And then we're going to do the same thing on defense. So winner first. We'll talk about them. And then we'll go to loser first on the offense.
I think on offense, to be very honest, I think that who needs to be a winner is probably some of the running backs, I'd say. Like, I know Connor Hayward's going to have the chance for the team, but I think he needs to have a good camp or come to camp moment. I'd probably say third down running back as well. I think whoever's playing that is wide open. But I'd say like running back.
I just want one name. We'll talk about positions after the names.
One name out of the whole offense that needs to win. Like he needs to make the best impression out of everyone.
Yeah. Or the Steelers need him too for them to be able to have a successful season.
You know what? You know what's kind of crazy? I'm going to probably say, I think, you know what? This sounds nuts.
If you take my name, I'm going to be furious.
Well, I'm going to put this angle here. Allen Robinson, I think, needs to come into camp pretty fired up. I think if he's there for them to have a successful season, there's been a lot of talk around him being the vet, him coming here, him having the private workouts with Kenny Pickett. So I'm not saying I don't like the player. I'm just saying if he comes in and has a really good camp the first week, good impression, then we're on the right move. I think for this offense to move, the sticks down there 10 yards plus. But you can choose a variety of names really on the offense. But he's one of them because he's on the outside looking like he was a veteran now coming into the offense.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of talk around Robinson. I'm pretty keen to see him play. There's a lot of talk.
Yeah. My name's Darnell Washington.
True. I can see that.
Because if Freemuth's going to be injured start season or whatever it is, and we also need this offensive line and we need people blocking for the run game, Darnell Washington's huge in that. If Matt Canada's going to have a good year, Darnell Washington needs to have a good rookie year.
Plus two, I think, like scheme wise, I think for Darnell Washington, where they're going to put him at certain places on the line, you know what I mean? Like, are they going to use him in the blocking scheme, stuff like that? How does he, I guess, adjust to this team? Like, how does he work his role into the team with like the fullback or the tight end side, or who he's working with? So I think not just watching him catch routes and stuff like that, but what is he involved in? What certain packages is he going out there?
Correct.
Stuff like that. So there's a lot of pressure, I think, for him to be, because if he doesn't, okay. I kind of see a little bit of the angle where you're going. If he doesn't do anything good, the rider's going to tear him to shreds. Next minute, the fan base.
It's a waste of a 4th round pick. And,
Yeah.
This guy, what's he going to be? Should you make him a tackle? Should
that happens a lot.
Size?
The fan base will then quickly move on from one player because some riders say he's too slow, he can't catch this, blah, blah, blah. He's doing this and doing that. And then we go, oh, no. But so that's that. If he comes out swinging, though, we're going to be all hyped up.
Yeah.
But that's
what about a loser? Who can't afford to be a loser?
You know what? Shesky, I think. I think Shesky's up there. I think Gunnar Shesky's up there. But I've got two, but I can't say two. So okay, I'll go with Shesky. I think there's only really two spots for the receiver at the 3, 4 are done, 5 and 6. Probably going to be Boykin, and then 6 is going to be someone else to be the returner as well. And if Shesky can light it up and at least give his fans a glimmer of hope to maybe he could be a returner, because I think he might make the team. Actually, I think there's a small chance he might. But if he stuffs up, then his job's almost done. Really.
Wow.
Why? Who's yours?
No, you're right. I mean, he's got to have a big week. I just think he's not there. I don't know how you use a roster spot on him.
But you said the biggest loser, right? So he's going to be the loser if he stuffs up. Yeah.
No, you're right. It's right. I have him so automatically in the cut bucket, and I
just feel that the Steel's going to keep him. Something it tells me about a Ryan Switzer or a Marcus Allen. Something just tells me that at the very end, it's going to be 6 receivers. He's going to be the guy that, because he did some blocking stuff too. He was blocking on some routes as well, like in the receiving game. I think he was part of he was like the third receiver coming in for certain sets and stuff. So he was blocking on certain routes and running ability, and he has got a bit of heart. But I think we do judge him on that factor that he drops the ball quite a bit returning. So I think if he has a bad camp, then he's almost like maybe he's cut. But something tells me that he's going to stay. I don't know who's going to be the 6th guy.
Yeah, you're right. I think Boykin's got to have a big week on the offense. He's got to prove special teams and offense.
I've been putting him in the pencil in that he's got 5th. But what's to say that he's going to get that job completely?
Correct.
Because does he really add anything much to this offense, or do they need his body in the offense if they go a different route?
Correct.
Maybe there's 2 spots. Every time I do the receivers, I do 5, and then I do him included, and I just do who's going to be 6. But maybe it should be who's going to be 5 and 6, and there's a bunch of names in there that could fill in.
Correct. Yeah, I don't think we've sorted this one out. All right, let's flip to the defense. One player on defense, winner. Needs to be a winner. This week.
It needs to be a winner.
Yeah.
Let me see. Who's on defense? Out of all the names, I'm like, who's who? This is a tough question. Can I go with a vet? Can I go? That sounds like someone's name. Isn't a vet someone's name?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a vet. This sounds crazy, but
you're gonna go Patrick Peterson.
How'd you know?
Because he's answered everything this offseason. You got to pick another player. No, I'm not having that. I'm not having that.
Listen, if he doesn't win, then all our hype's going to be really down. If he doesn't go out there and do some great things by winning, by being the best player out there, then what does the season look like? Do you know what I mean? So I'd say someone like him, to be that veteran presence, he needs to come in there firing guns a-blazing.
What I will admit, I feel like he kind of went through the motions in the OTAs. He said all the right things, but I don't think they really did anything. I think he's got to prove that he's the number one cornerback on the roster, that he's the guy that everyone's chasing.
But I wonder what you do. What do they do as being the veteran guy? Like kind of like the Joe Hayden situation, right? He just had the job because he was Joe Hayden. Is that because Patrick Peterson has the job because he's Patrick Peterson and he's the number one?
No, I don't think at the Steelers.
So does he need to come into camp like grinding, doing all the vet stuff and you know?
Yeah, I mean he'll get allowances, but he'll still have to prove himself. All right, my name's Holcomb.
Holcomb, that's a good one.
We need Holcomb to have a big week.
Mm.
Holcomb doesn't have a big week. We got problems.
Well, it's also interesting too as well because I think the first 5 days are like they're not pads just yet. I think the first 5 days work your way into it. But then like I know the media speculation around the first 5 days will set the scene for the next like 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone's going to write the different stories and stuff like that. But you make a good point. Holcomb is coming into the situation too. He needs to I think fire up the crowd or fire up the Steelers and maybe learn. He's got to learn the defense because he's going to be the guy probably being the green dot, right? So and there's already a lot of stuff with him saying you can't do this, you can't do that. But it's like I can't wait to see him hit someone with pads on, or break a route and pick someone off, or just that, or have a good interview after practice, and we buy into him.
Yeah, 100%. Who's your loser? Who can't afford to have a bad week? I think I know who you're going to pick here.
You know what? Who can't afford to have a bad week? Who am I going to pick? I don't know.
Trey Norwood.
I was like, I thought about Trey Norwood. I actually was going to say Isaiah Loudermilk. I think he's going to be
he took my guy. But yeah, go talk about Loudermilk.
Yeah, I just was going to say if he doesn't do anything special in going to the first week or whatever training camp, and we're all hyped up, we're going to forget about him in the team. And then we almost already have anyway, because the amount of blokes coming in at that position has changed. Like now we have like 5-6 guys that can rotate, and Cameron Hayward and Benton. I'm keen for Benton and all those dudes, right? He's just like a guy turning up to camp. So if he can't afford to lose. If he does anything really wrong, he's going to be cut on the squad.
Yep. All right, because you said Loudermilk, I'm going to say easy answer is Montravis Adams, but I'm actually going to say DeMarvin Leal. And the reason why I say he can't afford to have a bad week, it's more the Steelers can't afford to have a bad week. He has to prove that he can lock down one spot. Like, I know he's versatile. I want him to be versatile. But he has to nail one spot so that he's on the field. Like, he's got the chance to be on the field all the time. The Steelers, we can't afford for him to have a quiet year two. He has to have a big year two, particularly if Loudermilk has a bad week. So we need Leal to have a big week.
But wouldn't it be surprising if Leal doesn't turn up, or the way that the coaches want them to turn up, maybe phrase it that way, and then Loudermilk turns up and we're like, oh my goodness, this could be something. But I think Loudermilk's really I know, but I think Loudermilk's really, falling behind in what they wanted him to be or what could have been. Was he third or fourth year now, I think? Third year. And we haven't really seen too much action from Loudermilk or even...
And he actually regressed last year.
Yeah. So that's a good one. I could have went with Trey Norwood.
So we're gonna flip it then, because you kind of preempted it with your first response to the offense. I want you to give me a position on the offense that needs to really like put themselves on the map, and then I want you to give me a position that Steeler fans probably should temper their expectations about. And you can break up the offensive line into guards and tackles.
Yeah, I'd probably still stick with running backs. I think running backs, with this whole thing now around Najee and the Zoom calls and, getting paid the most money, all this kind of stuff, I think that I just want to see them go out there and work. And also, I think they need to find, obviously, the number one, number two, but running backs as a whole, I think I want to see them just be, cohesive as a unit and just start running the ball. And I want to see if I see their drills and they're all working out fantastically, it's going to set the season up for a good time and for success.
Yeah.
However, you said, what's the other question?
Who's the team who's the position group that Steel fans should be like managing their expectations about?
All right, it's okay if Dan Moore starts. Okay.
Yeah, but the position group.
Well, I'd probably say left tackle or tackle. I'd probably say that, right?
Okay.
I'd say And even, I don't just include all the tackles because I know some people really aren't high on Chooks either, but he seems to get the job done every year. And I never really say anything too bad about Chooks. Never say anything too good about him either, but I just don't really bring it up. I just feel like he's just a guy
Which is a
doing his
good
job.
thing. That's a good thing. Not
Right?
everyone can be a pro bowler. Not the whole team can't
Yeah,
be a
but
pro bowler.
I never read anything about him too much. Even the players talk, they're just like okay with him. I feel like not many podcasts we go deep diving into Chooks, like it doesn't happen. But to me, it would be like probably the tackle. I'd probably say tackle wise, if they're more, you know, when they start like they got the rows like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's okay if Dan Moore's at 1 and Jones is at 2. That's fine. Don't freak out. It's not the world's not ending. We'll have depth and they still can compete for, you know, tackle if it's going to go that route. But that's me, probably tackles.
Okay, because I had them in the group that you had the RBs, so that makes all sense. I'm gonna say then. I feel like the wide receivers need to have a good week. And not just, the reason why I say that and not a player, and the reason that might sound a bit odd because people are like, "Whoa, we've got DJ, we've got Pickens, we've got Allen Robinson, we've got Calvin Austin." We can't afford for one player to be having a great week and everyone else has an average week. I want to see them all adjusting the offense. I want to see them all have chemistry with Kenny Pickett. I want to see them moving around. I don't want to see just Allen Robinson stuck in the slot. I mean, this narrative amongst like the community out there that Allen Robinson's only going to play slot. Like I'm kind of getting over that, right? So I want to see versatility. I want to see consistency. I don't want to see drop balls. I want to see knowing the offense. I want to see Calvin Austin used in a variety of different ways. That's what I need. That's what I need to see. In terms of tempering the expectation, I think you hit on the nail on the head with the tackles. I also think like the guards, like it's gonna take maybe Siamalu and Herbig and even Daniels. He's had a big offseason where he got married. It might take those guys a little bit of time just to gel with some of the changes, with some of the schemes, some of year 2 of Pat Meyer on the offensive line. It's not necessarily just going to be a boom, everything works perfectly, like easy as. So I think I definitely think it's the
Can I do a bonus
guards.
one? A bonus temper expectation. It's going to be really hard though.
Yeah,
probably Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett.
But,
Yeah,
but I'm all in. I'm ready to go. I want to see this guy succeed so much that I want to just like we've won the Super Bowl now, but it's going to be like the first pass we see, and we get all excited.
It's like I heard a podcast. I listened to Move the Sticks from the last week where they talked about building a fantasy team and they had Marcus Smart on there, right? And he was talking about rookie quarterbacks still investing on, not investing in second year guys. And he's like, yeah, he goes like, I'm not convinced Kenny Pickett's going to have a good second year. I don't think he said he's not going to have a bad year, but he's like, I'm not convinced he's going to have this big jump. And I ended the podcast, like I put it down and I got cranky, right? No one's around. I just got cranky. I'm like, this is, and the next hour, all I had in the back of my mind was like, this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know. And then so it's so funny you bring it up because then I like sat there to myself and I thought, hang on. Well, what if I said to myself, like, Matt, what if Kenny, it's 14 interceptions, it's 23 touchdowns. Okay. Like, so what? Like, that is what it is. Like, doesn't mean it's a bad year, doesn't mean it's a good year, doesn't mean you've got to draft someone in the first round next year to replace him. Like, that's not what you got to do. But like, you got to hope for the best always. But yeah, I think you're right. Maybe
what is a jump? Do you think we hear this terminology so much, and now it's our turn to talk about it because it's Kenny's second year. What is the jump of the quarterback in his rookie year to now the second year? What do you define that as a jump? And that's a terminology we're going to hear forever.
Double-digit wins and 20, as long as he's better than 24 touchdowns and 16 interceptions, I'm happy with that. Most people will be like, what the heck? But Peyton Manning in his third year, 17 interceptions, I think it was 23 TDs. So I'll be happy with 24-16.
Okay. So stat-wise, that's right. But what about the other things about learning the game, the cadence?
That's 24 throwing touchdowns as well, not rushing.
Yeah, but what things do you want to see about learning the game and learning the playbook and stuff like that and taking control of the offense? What do you want to see?
I want to see him step up in the pocket more.
Yeah. I think he talked about that actually.
Yeah, he did.
I think he talked about that.
In the pocket more, trust that interior offensive line. I don't want to see so many just quick pass to the first read on a slant, which he didn't do a lot last year, but he did a lot in the pit offense. I mean, he did do it last year. I don't need people to correct me in the comments, but like he didn't do it at the frequency you thought about. I also think like finishing drives I'll just say that. I think not forcing a pass, like it's not his fault the interception with Pat Freiermuth in the Jets game. Pat probably should have let that go, but try not to make that throw. Like take the variability out of those situations out. You can't sit there and say, get rid of fourth quarter comebacks and get a lead earlier. Like there's so much other people involved in that. But I think I do think red zone could be a bit better on the passing offense, but that's also who's available to you each week. What's the scheme that week? What's the matchup that you've got over an opposition team? So and the thing about Kenny Pickett, I feel like there's some rookie quarterbacks out there or some early in career rookie quarterbacks that you could sit there and say, he's got to hand the ball off more. He's got to stop forcing a pass in the end zone, right? And I mean, even we saw that with Big Ben, how many times he tried and force it in the red zone. But Kenny doesn't do that. He'll rush himself or hand the ball off. So I feel like it is a hard thing to give him criticism. But yeah, I think, as I said, there's the stat ratio. They're stepping up in the pocket, trusting his receivers, throwing balls that aren't as many 50-50 catches, right? Like that's fine. You're going to have to throw people open in the NFL. You're going to have to throw some contested catch balls that are contested catches. But also the other thing too is I don't want to see overthrowing and people go, he doesn't have the arm, but he can overthrow receivers at times. I don't want to see that. I want to see pinpoint, put the ball in space.
You know who's been talking about it though? I saw a snippet of, I think I watched back some training camp stuff the other day on Pittsburgh Steelers YouTube, and Robinson talked about, wow, on the money. So he said every time.
Yeah.
So
I feel like he's got a lot more accurate too when you watch it on tape. Just even these highlights, I think he looks a lot more accurate. I think his timing's better. Like the precision. I don't think he was never not an accurate passer. That's why Steelers picked him. But I think it's the touch. You know what? When you think about touch, like just the way you guide the ball through, I think that's something he's improved.
Who's winning games for us this season? Is it Kenny Pickett, the defense, or the run game? Like who has the most to do with the wins?
Kenny Pickett.
Really? So that wouldn't that generate that would more say that's the next step, right? I think so. If you're saying Kenny Pickett, that to me is that's going to be like the next step or next progression of moving down to win games. Because I think defense might win a few games this year too.
So yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you on that sort of thing. But I also think the defense can't hold. Like we've allowed almost the fewest points in the last 20 years as a Steelers defense, and Steelers were very well on that before,
19.
right? So he's going to have to score some points. The offense is going to have to score some points to win more games. Like they won them, they got 9-8 last year. They have to score some more points.
One more question before we get to the other ones too. What is the moment that we as Steelers fans say, this is our guy, this is the next guy, the next franchise guy? Is it this year or is it next year for Kenny Pickett?
If he wins a playoff game, it's this year. If he doesn't win a playoff game, it's not this year.
So there won't be any particular throw or anything like that. It's got to be like a monumental game of we won this game. Yeah. Okay, I like that.
Unless he wins a game to make it into the playoffs, that's like a nail biter or against a really good team, and then we just get blown out in the playoffs. Like we just don't have the right scheme, we have injuries, whatever it is. But he's got to win a game where the season's on the line.
What if it's week 1, 3 TDs, 300 yards?
It's not going to be that. I don't think that matters though, because I think he's going to throttle Brock Purdy and the 49ers.
Yeah, but that to me would be kind of like all right, we have a guy. We have a guy right now. 3 TDs, 0, shut the NFL up, and it's something happening, right? To see that.
The thing though, I don't think it'll shut the NFL up. I think it's going to do the opposite. No. I think it's going to get them talking even more about what's the sky's the limit, and where's the I mean? Or people will be like, oh, the 49ers played so badly, Kenny Pickett got lucky. No matter what, the headline is going to be anti-Pickett.
It does seem to be that way with anything that happens with the Steelers. It always seems to be that way.
Yeah, I feel like everyone wants to hate us. So my question was going to be on the same as what we did on the offensive with the defense. Which position group will be winners or need to be winners? And which position group on defense do the Steelers fans need to lower their expectations on?
The middle linebackers need to be winners, to be honest. I'd say.
A bit like my Holcomb.
Yes, just to quiet the noise. They've got to come out there because it's really the only person that played last year in that group is Mike Robinson, and second-year guy. 2 new blokes coming in: Roberts, Holcomb, Tanner Muse, Kukowski. Those blokes. I'd say middle linebackers need to win to chill out.
We forget about Tanner Muse.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's going to make the team or not now because the other guy, Kwiatkowski, I think he can play teams too.
But I do think this. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So and they're probably going to take maybe four or five middle linebackers. So maybe depending. And there's another guy there too. I can't remember his name. But I'd say middle linebackers to have a strong camp would quiet some noise and be like, okay, they need to win for that to happen. At least on the media point. But even probably coaches too.
What about tempering expectations?
I'd probably say that probably the talk around cornerbacks. Because we do have JPJ. They have the avatars in Corey Trice and that. I'd say, yeah, don't expect them to go off straight away and be crazy out there making big plays all the time. There's got to be rookie mistakes from both Trice and JPJ. And JPJ hasn't even signed his contract yet. Or to this recording at 8 p.m. on 24th of
Yeah, I bet he signs it tomorrow by the time this goes out.
Could do. I got a video coming out tomorrow talking about it. I reckon when I do that, it's going to sign. He's going to sign. So I would just say just temper this little bit because they're going to be the face or the quarterbacks for the next 3 or 4 years if they are good players going into great. And I'd say we don't want to, it's a bit like getting Jones on the O-line straight away. You don't need him there. If he does win the start, fantastic. But mine would be cornerback. What about yours?
So I've got the winners that need to be winners. I think the edge rushers need to be winners. I think it's a really deep edge rushing room. I think so. Like, Watt won't do that much, like in camp, but Highsmith needs to keep showing out with this deal. But Golden, Roche, and Herbig all have to show they're good. They're the goods. We've got 5. It's 5 dogs, 4 bones, right? 2 bones already allocated for. 3 dogs, 2 bones. Who's gonna go get it?
Yeah, that's interesting because who's going to be the backup, and the backup needs to be part of the team. Nothing, no matter who it was. Ingram, the other bloke who I don't remember his name, number 50. I can't remember his name.
Reed.
Oh, yeah, I was so excited for Reed. Had good stats and did nothing. Had 1 sack last year. But even when you watch the game, he just never got part of the play. He was never in it.
Nah, I don't think it was a good scheme fit. I think that was a gamble.
Yeah, true.
But it was cheaper than getting some of the other guys off the street and a bit more reliable and all that sort of stuff. My temper expectations, I think, that's a hard one. It is a hard one because you talked about inside linebackers, you talked about cornerbacks. I don't like maybe the safety group. I think Keanu Neal will need a little bit of time still to adjust. I think Kazi's coming off that injury. We don't need to see everything from him straight away. I think understanding who's coming in and playing in safety schemes and positions.
That's the point I think would be the fun part to figure out. Not like who. We know who's going to make the team, but where they're going to go and how they're going to play their sets. We talk about the 3-safety set. That to me is so exciting to figure out what's going to happen. Yeah, how they're going to do it. That's the point we're going to try and get out of camp. Is that part?
So that's why I think that one's we need to temper expectations because that might not look great the first week. In fact, it might not even look good in the first couple of preseason games. But it doesn't have to. That's what the preseason's for. I think people get very hyped when they don't like what they see in preseason. Like, you watch, if we played poorly against Buffalo, people will be like, oh, the season's over.
But it's good. It's good to fail, though. It's good to fail so you can improve and figure things out.
100%. The culture in life, you've got to learn. If you don't fail, you are never going to learn. You know, like... I'm
the biggest learner on the coast here, mate. I'm a massive failure.
You're not a failure. Shut up. All right. What else before we wrap it up? We don't need to go like crazy show for all the fans. I've heard a lot about stuff going to training camp. But anything else that you think that as a Steel fan, or is this something you're just excited for about camp?
I'm excited actually just to watch the individual stories, like even the guys like Benton to see what he can do in camp and just muscle up and show out and just push those bags as far as you can or break on the offensive line and the one-on-one battles when they get into that kind of stuff where they're versing an offensive line. And then also what I'm really excited to is to get back the play interviews and also the coaching interviews because there's a lot of gems and nuggets in there that we can grab and discuss because they know what they're seeing and they're like and there's little hints of certain things they're going to give away and how they're going to use players. I think it would be also there's the flack on Matt Canada, which I'm actually at a level field now. Like I don't hate him nor do I like him because it's in the off season again. But I think to see his progression from last year and what he does with his offense. But the same thing, we can't judge straight away in training camp, nor can we judge in preseason. It's going to be like probably the first maybe 0 to 6, 7 weeks to see how this offense is going to go. But to see where they're going to put all their players in different schemes and like formations, that's the most intriguing part to me because we can figure out the rest. We know the player's going to go, then we can try and figure out the rest. But I think he's going to be under the pump from Steelers fans. I think in because it just is. Right, regardless, which is connected to Mike Tomlin as well. And I was yelling out fire Canada last year, but I have no room right until
Steelers fans. You don't want Matt Canada to fail.
No, we don't, because then we.
If you want Matt Canada to fail, whether you think he will or not, fine, right? And you can go find a video on this channel about what Peyton thinks. But but you want him to be successful. If he's not successful, we've got problems this year. They're not learning a new offense. And they might have even drafted a couple of the wrong guys. So
maybe this is the year that he shows us everything and we get 30 points a game or 25, 26 and we're so quiet. The only time we're barking is when we're getting 19 points a game. We never praise anyone. In the culture we live in, we never praise anyone.
Mind you, though, he's going to get even more arrogant with the media if he averages 27 points.
He's not the best with the media. He doesn't help himself out, to be honest. He's pretty hard shell.
I'm being generous when I say he's poor with the media. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's got a very hard shell, and a lot of things he says, you just kind of wish he'd say a different way to maybe kind of like him, understand him. Maybe he's thinking, well, I'm doing what I want, kind of thing. But we'll have to see. And the only way we can see it is if the offense is successful and moves forward. The player's got to buy in too, though. But I think he's got a lot of pressure because obviously it's his last year.
Yeah.
Will the Steelers extend him? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
So does he just? I don't know what's his purpose then to win one and then get another job somewhere else to win a playoff game.
I don't know. I think he needs to get himself another gig somewhere else.
Yeah. But if we do see the same thing, the same scheme, format, same thing. It's going to be very frustrating. Same thing, same results. Very frustrating.
So before Glenn Thomas came in, I was a bit like, they can't sack him mid-season. Now, I don't know.
They could change. They can move to Glenn Thomas by. Some are saying week 6. I've heard the fans out there saying, but like after the bye.
Yeah, after the bye, I could see that.
That would be the move, and then you already have the things in place. Someone takes over. He knows the scheme, the players.
But if there's a major injury on the offense, they're not going to move him because they're going to blame it all on that.
Yeah.
Like if Najee misses 3 games, for example, to start the season, you can't blame that on Canada.
But you know what, though? It's kind of like, it could be a good school, great school, but a bad leader, bad principal. Do you know what I mean? You still have the same structure, same foundation. So what if it was really Matt Canada leading the ship that couldn't do anything or the right way to get to that point? Then someone else comes in with the same personnel and the same playbook, similar playbook or schemes, and was like, wow, difference. So I think that's one thing to watch out for is the Matt Canada situation. But I'm going to fire him yet because we'll know. I think Steelers fans will know. If we get 3 points the first week, we'll know.
Yeah, we'll know. I love that. All right, well, with that, we're going to wrap up this week's Steelers Mad Monday. Thank you very much for listening. As always, Steelers fans out there listening to this, if you like the show, hit the like, comment in the live chat. We'd love to know what you thought of the different things that we said on the show. If this is like the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th video you listen to from us and you're not a sub, think about subbing. That way you get a lot of content. You get the notifications when we do live. We try and do at least one live a week, and we try to make that very dominated by the comments. The last 2 weeks we've had premiere recordings. We were in the Bowden Live chat for one. The other one I was traveling. I was on a flight, so Marky D held down the fort. But we're back this week with our unusual live show. So excited for that. Thick of training camp. It'll be awesome. And yeah, man, we're pumped. We're getting closer to the season every day. We're getting
few
closer.
days away from training camp, preseason, and then season, and then we're going up top for your wedding.
That's it, man. That's it.
Oh,
all right, as always, Marky D.
Go Steelers. Here we go.